Hey again. So one thing that we talked about last week as teachers is how long these videos should be, and I'm gonna do my best to keep each video no more than like 5 minutes. So if it seems like I'm rushing through things, you can eventually tell me to slow down. So again, we're gonna talk about circles and circumference and area today. Some things that I want you to know about circles. So I talked about circumference in the video. It's all the way around an object. All right, there's that. Diameter goes straight through the center from one side to the other. Good. And radius is anywhere from the center out. Can be anywhere on the circle. Okay. You need to make sure you have your center point to do any of this, though. If we were to, they're going to talk a lot about pizzas in the pages this week. I'm not going to worry so much about that, and a lot of the problems we're not going to do because of this distance learning. It's a little bit hard to replicate the learning. Anyway, so I'm going to be a little bit more direct with some of these things this week, and so let's go at it. So using your tape measure or string, you're going to find, I'm going to say 4 objects in your house to measure. And you're going to create this table right here. Now, I'm going to say that because of what's going to happen later in the week, I would recommend adding this extra column here. And that column should be labeled height. Okay. And actually, let's do this. Add another one. And we'll call that one volume. And why not? Let's add one more. We'll call this one surface area. So we're going to add 3 columns. And we won't use these 3 columns for a while, but since we're measuring once, let's just measure today. All right, so let me talk about my my fruit here, my fruit cup. I'm going to change color. So you're going to put your object here. I want you to make pictures like I did of each of these objects so that I can see exactly what you measured. The diameter of my fruit cup is 7.5 centimeters. I'm going to put centimeters down here. The circumference that I measured was 23.5 centimeters. And the ratio of circumference to diameter. So basically that is if I take my circumference of 23.5 and I divide it by my diameter, 7.5, I'd get an answer. All right. And in this case, I believe my answer was about 3.13. Now, if you can probably guess it, this answer should be as close to pi as possible. So, or in other words, as close to 3.14 as possible. So you'll see as you measure things, how close to pi are you? So I'd like you to show all of this measuring work on your paper. You can put your final answer here, but I want you to show your calculations. Now, you're going to be looking for patterns relating the circumference and the diameter. I basically told you the pattern, which is you should be close to pi. Can you find the circumference of a circle if you know its diameter? And can you find the diameter of a circle if you know its circumference? Okay, so let's kind of talk about that. I'm going to be giving you some formulas, and I would like you to be writing these down in your notebooks. So pi we know is 3.14, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to worry about all the extra stuff besides 3.14 because that's enough mathematically to use. I'd like you to write the names. C is circumference, D is diameter, R is radius. And so then we have some formulas that I'd like you to make sure that you've got down. 1, circumference is pi times diameter. Again, 3.14. Diameter is circumference divided by pi. And then if we had the radius, all you would need to do is double the radius to get diameter and then multiply it by pi. So in the case of my cup, I've got circumference is pi times diameter, or 3.14 times 7.5. And that actually gives the answer of 23.55 centimeters. So if you compare that to the actual answer I got of 23.5, it's pretty close. If I wanted the diameter, I would take the circumference divided by the pi, which happened to be 23.5 divided by 3.14. And that gives me 7.48. And my actual diameter was 7.5. Pretty close again. All right, so that's your work for today. I want you to find 4 objects. I want you to fill out the table, add on to the table. I want you to show me your math, and then I want you to actually test out all of this here. Okay, test out what happens to circumference if you know diameter, and find out if you want to get diameter if you know the circumference, and see how close you get to your actual answers in the end. All right, have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing your work.